How your lawn looks says a lot about you. So put your lawn care maintenance into the hands of someone who really cares. They're reasonable, experienced, reliable, licensed, and insured. They are Top Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. Commercial and residential services are available all year long. Call or text them today for a free estimate. Top Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. 419-708-0005. Top Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. Go ahead, Larry.
What happened?
I took a drink of coffee.
You killed yourself.
Yeah, I took a drink of coffee just as I was getting ready to intro, and I'm like, oh no. Like, that's no good.
It ain't worse than me falling back and knocking the thing off the wall. It's in that big, great electrical box.
There we go. We're just self-destructing.
Live?
Yeah, we're all good, man.
How we good.
Just having a moment. Seeing if anybody really cared. Damn, Tim's having to see if we can give him some.
Hey, go in there and Tim, he's choking. Just go CPR, Sylvie's CPR.
Yeah, that was funny. But anyhow, man, how are you tonight, Larry?
Oh man, I'm all right, man. Chilling, man. You know, surviving. You know how we do it down here in the world. Survive.
Surviving down in Texas. Down in Texas.
You do it, baby.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, you're a little warmer than us. We're just, hey, we're like I said earlier before we went on here. We're in our fall, starting to go into our fall. So cooler weather. So hey, what we get from moving back up north, we don't get that 80, 90 degree shit anymore.
Oh well, it ain't all that hot. Literally, I mean, it's not all that hot. It's hot, but 80 or 90 degrees. I'm telling you something, it's even worse. If you're like trying to exercise outside in 89 degrees, the bigger you are, the hotter you're going to get, and the faster you're going to dehydrate and get fatigued. So hot weather is horrible when it comes to like training or exercise, doing any kind of activity outside. So
you heard.
Perfect location.
Hey man, well let's just jump into the show real quickly. And toxic wasteland, railroad union workers into the monarchy, and our asshole of the week. So
Yeah.
let's jump right into it. Toxic wasteland and what's going on here. And we've talked about this in prior shows, rather. And it's the ability for people to just come in and ravage the land. And that all comes off of the 1872 Mining Act, where people can just ravage the land, just kind of like abandon it and let it go. And if it's toxic, it's toxic. But first, let's look at the video so people understand what is regulating these people, which is basically nothing. And then we'll come back and discuss this.
Come, my pretties, just stick with me and I'll keep the 1800s alive and make you richer in your wildest dreams. Especially if you happen to be a multinational mining corporation. If you stick with me, I'll make sure mining comes first. Who cares about hunting or fishing? Those people are standing on your corporation's money, and I aim to get it. I'm the law in these parts. See, I've been the law since Ulysses S. Grant was president. Corsets were hip, and manifest destiny was settling the West. Before the light bulb and before any talk of environmental regulations. That means I can do whatever I damn well please, like make sure mining is still the #1 toxic polluter in these here United States. And I don't mean any sissy coal-fired power plant pollution. I'm talking about mercury flowing through your veins, pools of acid in the mountains, and 20 tons of mining waste for a single gold ring. But don't worry, me and my multinational corporate buddies won't get out of hand. Isn't that right, fellers? So whatever you do, just leave us be. There's no sense changing things, so's we'll act like those responsible miners who are good neighbors. If you don't like the way I mine, go jump in the lake.
Boopity-boo. Yeah. Yeah, can you believe that?
Yes, I can believe it. I believe everything that happens here in America, in our country, when it deals with using natural resources or using people or using anything that these rich people can use to make money. I'm like, that's in our nature. It's not nature, man. I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm kind of desensitized because you got to think about it. You would think that what they're doing is hurting the earth. Yes, it is. It's messing. It's messing the earth up for our grandkids, our grandkids, or whatever people down the line. It's destroying the earth. But I think that's evolution. I think it happens. I think the whole purpose of us being here is to evolve and destroy.
You know what I find interesting in a little bit more into that 1872 act, and I'm not sure if how this is attached to it, but I know that they had like a higher percentage tax if you just like whatever ore, whatever you may have discovered, they had a higher tax for blacks and immigrants and Mexicans, basically to keep you out of the game.
Well,
that was all part of that crap too.
Yeah, it's typical, and it's different now because you can actually get part of a group. You know how they merge together and they say so-and-so group builds apartments, whatever. You can actually hide within a group of people and not be seen as black or Mexican or whatever if you have money.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference compared to today. Back then, it was obvious and they held you back. But now you can just be slick and be smart about it and connect with the right people.
Well, let's take a look at what this stupid act has done. Let's take a look at this a second. This is what it's done to us.
It was peaceful. It was our home. And we used to have farming down here and up that way.
And I used to play in that perennial stream.
The sheep, the cows, and the horses, they all drink from there.
Nobody told us not to.
The Navajo tribe. I wonder if they had any idea what was going to happen here.
For over 40 years, this Navajo community in Church Rock, New Mexico, has been living with a toxic legacy. The mining industry poisoned their water, soil, and air, abandoned hundreds of uranium mines, and turned its back on the biggest radioactive spill in U.S. history. That changed in the summer of 1979. UNC stored its toxic uranium waste in a pond nearby. The site was called a tailings pond, which held several 100 million gallons of radioactive sludge, or tailings. Early on July 16th, the dam on the pond broke, letting out over 1,000 tons of uranium tailings and millions of gallons of wastewater into the Rio Puerco. It was a creek bed locally known as the Perky that was often used as a source of drinking water for locals and livestock.
I started hearing people talking. Did you see that? Did you see the mills? Did you see the dam? I looked in that direction, and sure enough, there was a huge break.
There was crowds of people out there, but never really knowing, that 94 million gallons of contaminated waste had just gone down the Perky.
But the question I asked him, who allowed them to do that in the first place?
This regulation that said
They can.
They can. They
On that land.
Yeah, they can go to that land, which was obviously Navajo land. I'm sure they had some kind of BS condition that they came in there on, so that they make believe, that the Navajo might have some profit out of all this.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's a travesty of what they done to African American. I can say brothers and sisters here. I don't want to say black because that's not a nationality or an ethnicity because it's not. It's a travesty what they done to us here in America. But it's even worse that they did to the damn Indians, and I mean Native Americans. They just totally just wiped that whole race of people almost out completely with regulations and rules and just thievery itself. And this the crazy part though, Tim. The lawmakers are not even addressing issues like that or even trying to fix things like that or even make it better for their kids, grandkids, or great-grandkids or whatever coming up. They're not even trying to do anything about that. They're worried about bad air. They're worried about mudslinging. They're worried about documents out the White House and putting pictures up in the White House. Come on, bro.
Look what's in your own backyard.
Come on, man. Talk to them, Tim. It's a bunch of BS. It's kind of hard.
This
makes
is
it hard
BS.
for me to. It makes it hard for me to just trust politicians and listen to politicians, believe in politicians when we got homeless issues, we got all kinds of issues in America, racism. Then we got that's even worse than racism. That's just straight up disrespect.
And it is, and the disrespect
To the earth.
because it's money driven.
Yeah, disrespect to the earth, disrespect to the people itself. Disrespect to the state, the United States, the country itself. I'm like, come on, man.
You know what? It gets so terrible. Wait, it gets so. Here's how terrible people are. You can totally devastate an area, right? Let's mine the shit out of it, but yet I got a great idea. Let's check this out.
35,000 tourists a year visit the Berkeley Pit. A century ago, this was called the richest hill on Earth. It was the Anaconda Copper Mine in Butte, Montana. It's not rich anymore, and it's not much of a hill. In the 1950s, the mine changed from digging underground tunnels that followed particularly rich veins of copper to just excavating everything, turning the hill into an open pit on a scale that is difficult to convey on camera. There were whole neighborhoods destroyed to make way for this. It is a mile wide and so deep that you could fit the new One World Trade Center standing upright in it. Or at least you could if the pit wasn't halfway filled with toxic dilute acid. It kills any birds that land in there for too long. In 2016, thousands of geese died in one night after a snowstorm forced them down there. The team here let me get a little bit closer than the tourists do.
Some studies were done to try to figure out how long a bird can withstand sitting on the pit water, and those studies found that it's up to 18 hours.
The world, hey, this is pretty screwed up and we need to do something about it. A $3 admission fee is, well, it's capitalism. In the United States, a country that codified the idea of the roadside attraction, it almost seems normal to pay for a ticket to see the mile-wide, incredibly toxic pit.
Damn, Tim. Them some assholes. I'm gonna pay my $3 to see how this pit, how the country has devastated and ruined this whole city.
Right.
I'm like, you might as well line up Jews, blacks,
just shoot them and
poor
shit,
white
right?
people, Mexicans, Chinese people, Indians, and just everybody pay $3 to just stay there and watch how fucked up they look.
Is that some Barnum and Bailey shit or what? I mean, how
that is a ripoff. That's sad. And the people that pay to go see it need to get punched in their mouth, man.
How do you sell that?
How you sell tragedy? How do you sell torture? How do you sell hate, discrimination? I'm like, I can say hate. I say hate because you really had to go in there and say, fuck all these damn people. We're going to mine no matter what.
Right.
Kiss our ass. We're going to get our money. That's hate. You don't care about them people. You care about their money.
And then it's the condition that it's left in. So look, you've got when they say that toxic acidy wastewater that's there, that a bird lasts, what, maybe 16 hours?
Hey, they said toxic acid waste. They put those three words together. Toxic acid and waste. Usually they're separate. That's some bad stuff, man. I'm like, that's some stuff that them country hicks out there don't eat moonshine. They drink some moonshine, but that's some stuff that'll knock them on their ass. Toxic, hazardous waste.
And this is in Butte, Montana. So, I mean, I don't know how many people live in the city of Butte. Probably, I mean, it's a fair-sized city, so what, 100,000 or plus?
Yeah, great city, great state. What about the fumes and stuff with it? What about when it gets hot or it just... you know,
I would have to sit there and think if, as
goes
you,
in the air, doesn't it?
you're right. Wouldn't you think through the evaporation process that it would get into the air and then you're breathing it, right? And, or once it's in the air and it's being absorbed into the atmosphere and going over, now it's raining. Now is it raining that same shit water that's toxic acid, toxic wastewater? I mean,
Hold on, and then people are dumb as hell. I'm gonna pay $3 to go over there and look at it. I'm not gonna pay $3 to go look at anything that's stupid. That's stupid, man. Like I'm gonna pay $3. Like I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to edge up my beard, and then I shave half of it off. And then I say, okay, I'm gonna pay $3 to look at myself in the mirror. No, that's stupid.
well, you know, and hey, it's never ending. I mean, we've, as we said, talked about it numerous shows. So I mean, you know, people need to get an idea that, you know, besides our lakes that we're polluting, our rivers that we're polluting, and my God, I mean, we're just polluting the land. And, you know, what do you think's happening? It's going into Mother Earth. It's going into underground streams. It's going up into the atmosphere. And I guess if you don't mind slowly killing yourself, well, keep it up.
Man, I'm telling you, people are here to evolve and destroy. That's the only purpose. That's the reason. That's how most of the, especially the rich, they live that way. Let's evolve. What do we got to do to move forward, to make money, to get rich? And then who do we got to destroy to get there? That's it.
I'm thinking, and a couple back shows when we was talking about, you know, living on the moon, and, you know, we should maybe reconsider this shit. I don't know.
Oh, they're going to fuck the moon up too.
They'll fuck that up too. At least we'll have some time.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. They already got samples from the moon. They're just like, you know what? We can use this to do this and do that and do that.
Yeah, we know this.
Yeah, they finna fuck the moon up. I'm
Give
telling
them some
you.
time. Give them some
That's
time.
what people.
Disconnect. Jan?
Oh, you froze up. We both froze up.
Yeah, we both froze up there for a second.
I thought you were having one of those things. You
keep seeing the same thing, my friend.
You said we're going on strike. Hey, put the strike thing on before we freeze up again.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about the railroad strike. See what's going on here.
The nation is facing a dire situation. The first national railroad strike in 30 years, possible worker shortage. Around 60,000 union rail workers are set to go on strike. That accounts for almost half of all rail workers. They are holding out on agreements with rail companies. Right now, they are still under a so-called cooling off period, meaning they can't strike until Friday. The strike still.
I risk my life. I miss things with my family. And I just want to be fairly compensated for my time and my effort, and to be treated like I am part of your solution, not part of your problem.
Supply chain experts say almost 40% of long-haul freight travels by train, and a strike could idle thousands of trains, and at a cost of nearly $2 billion a day.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna freezing off and on.
I'm going to end this thing up, and then we're going to restart us here in just a second. Let me end us and restart us.